Lord is good to me. The Lord is good to me, and so I thank the Lord for giving me the things I need, the sun, the rain, and the apple seed. The Lord is good to me. The Lord is good to me, and so I thank the Lord for giving me the things I need, the sun, the rain, and the apple seed. The Lord is good to me. Okay, and then our last one is the joy of the Lord. We love hug time. The joy of the Lord is my strength. 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 If you want joy, you must praise for it. If you want joy, you must praise for it. If you want joy, you must praise for it. The joy of the Lord is my strength. He giveth living water, and I thirst no more. He giveth living water, and I thirst no more. He giveth living water, and I thirst no more. The joy of the Lord is my strength. 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 All right, thank you. You may have a seat, and Brian, I believe, is coming up to do announcements. Is that true?
Only on Tuesdays. Well, welcome to Unity of Modesto. Do we have any newcomers today? Anybody new to the church today? Okay. You are? Okay. All right. Upcoming events. We do have on November 11th. That's a Saturday from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Will be our holiday craft fair. We are still accepting vendors' applications. So if you'd like to sell some of your creations, be sure to pick up an application or talk with Barbara after church. November 19th, Thanksgiving potluck and Christmas box day. We will be having a Thanksgiving potluck this year, hosted by our board of trustees. There is a sign-up sheet in the back table. Please bring food in disposable containers, if possible, to make a cleanup and easy process. Also, the 19th of November is the day we'll be sending off Good Samaritan gift boxes. If you haven't done so already, you can pick up the boxes in the back, and I think we've gone over several times what type of items to put in there and what not to. So please make sure you bring the boxes in prior to that. Our food closet, just a reminder, it's getting closer to the holidays, and our food closet is getting low on supplies. Our food closet program supplies dry good foods to families in need. You are welcome to either bring in some non-perishable goods or simply make a donation to the program by contacting Joan Diaz or Laura in the office. Today's speaker is Sharon Casey. Sharon has lived in the Ceres, Modesto area most of her life. She is a mother of 2 grown daughters and 5 grandchildren. Wow, nice. She loves animals, has 3 dogs and 7 cats. There you go. Let's see here. She is currently in her last year of a 2-year study to become an ordained minister through the Community Miracles Center in San Francisco. She is an author of a book titled Clouds in Heaven, Being of Light, and has been an active member in our community for several years. She currently is head of our prayer team and communications team. We are so grateful to have her with us today. Thank you.
I'm not getting up.
Correct, you can.
Good. Just with the Thanksgiving potluck, we're stressing that everyone bring their dishes in disposable containers because we have to eat right after the potluck. And I don't know about you guys, but wash your pots and pans. Also, a reminder that in December we will have our
Silent auction, thank you,
and our Christmas potluck. So start thinking about what packages you can put together for auction. And Nancy's got a sample right back there.
I found the cutest little basket at Michael. They have some really smart things. You can make up something with a theme or find some particular item that you want to put in. Always have fun and some spirited, challenging. Marilyn and I like to go back and forth on the same item here.
Thank you.
And I just want to say, I'm Jackie, and I work with the script program, the gift card program, and I'm not going to be here next Sunday, which is the last Sunday of the month. So if you place your orders by the first Sunday of the month, they'll be here the second Sunday in November. If anybody wants a list, there's a long list of other vendors that we can order from that aren't on our typical sales. And keep in mind, Christmas is coming, so you might want to order some cards for Christmas this month and then spread it out and get some next month.
Chocolate.
What?
Chocolate.
Oh, we do have C's.
Yeah. I'm sure.
Does anybody want to?
I also wanted to say something about the script program. For those of you who are not familiar with it, when you purchase a script card, if you know you're going to go to Macy's and buy someone a gift, buy the script card for $25. Amount is, and it's $25 paid to Macy's. We purchase the cards at a discount, so that's where we get our money. And our script program is a very important fundraising program for our church. It has helped this church out tremendously throughout the years. For example, just this year, it just recently paid our insurance and liability insurance, which is several $1,000s. In other years, it's covered the cost for special musical performances and people who pertain to that. It's helped out with payroll. It's helped with maintenance costs. So the more we support it, the more we can get done in the church. You all.
Diane and I are the only ones that are doing this script right now, but we would really like to have 2 more people that would be available to help one Sunday a month. And all you do is to record the cards that you sell and do a deposit slip. And it's one Sunday a month, maybe 15 minutes before service and 15 minutes after service. So if somebody's willing to do that, Diane and I will be happy to help you learn how to do that. And the other thing about script cards that's exciting is, Kohl's gives you a special thing if you use your charge card. But our gift cards, not like the ones you buy as gift cards, but ones through the church will pay your charge card bill.
Well, thank you for that information. So this is the time in our service when we stand and join hands. If you're a hand holder, if you're not, you can just stay where you are and not take the person's hand next to you. And we're going to be singing the Lord's Prayer.
It's all right. It's okay.
Our Father, in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts as we forgive our debtors. And leave us not in temptation, but deliver us from error. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory forever. Amen. Thank you.
So it is now time for the daily word. And today is, I am joy-filled and radiant. These words to a popular unity hymn perfectly express the deep and boundless joy in my soul. I am the radiant life of God. I am, I am, I am. Divine happiness is my birthright. And I express the radiant happiness in many ways. Through a warm smile I share with others, through my uplifting words, and through the helpful actions I take on behalf of others. Like a cork that floats to the surface, my soul is naturally inclined to rise up in a state of joy. I don't let negativity hold me down. Instead, I am buoyed up by my relationship with God. My connection to Spirit helps me live from a joy-filled awareness. I am energized and I am uplifted. The joy I feel in my soul is an expression of the radiant life of God that courses throughout my being. And from Psalms 51:8, let me hear joy and gladness.
We're preparing for meditation now. You can relax now. Come on and open your eyes. Breathe deeply now. I am with you. Oh, my sweet, sweet child. Who do you think you are? You are the child of God, and that will never change. You had a dream. You misunderstood it. You thought we were separate. But now you hear my voice and you can relax now. Come on and open your eyes. Breathe deeply now. I am with you. You are the love of my life. You are the one creation. You are eternity, and that will never change. dream. You misunderstood it. You thought we were separate. But now you hear my voice and you can relax now. Come on and open your eyes. Breathe deeply now. I am with you. You are the love of my life. You are my one creation. You are eternity, and that will never change.
Listen and try to think, if you remember, of what we speak of now. Perhaps you catch a hint of an ancient state, not quite forgotten, dim perhaps, and yet not altogether unfamiliar, like a song whose name is long forgotten, and the circumstances in which you heard completely unremembered. Not the whole song has stayed with you, but just a little wisp of a melody, attached not to a person or a place, or anything in particular. But you remember from this little part how lovely the song, how wonderful the setting where you heard it, and oh, how you love those who were there with you and listened. The notes are nothing, yet you have kept them with you, not for themselves, but as a gentle reminder of what would make you weep if you remembered how dear it was to you. Trust that nothing in the world you learned is half as dear to you as this. Listen now and see if you remember an ancient song you knew so long ago and held more dear than any melody you have taught yourself to cherish since. Beyond the body, beyond the sun and stars, and past everything you see and yet somehow familiar, is an arc of golden light that stretches as you look into a great and shining circle. The circle fills with light before your eyes. The edges of the circle disappear, and what is in it is no longer contained at all. The light expands and covers everything, extending to infinity, forever shining with no break or limit anywhere. Within it, everything is joined in perfect continuity. It is impossible to imagine that anything could be outside, for there is nowhere this light is not. This is the vision of the Son of God, whom you know well. Here is the sight of him who knows his Father. Here is the memory of what you are, a part of this, with all of it within, and joined to all surely as all are joined in you. Accept this vision that can show you this and not the body. You know this ancient song and you know it well. Nothing will ever be as dear to you as this ancient hymn of love the Son of God sings to his Father still. And now the blind can see, for that same song they sung in honor of their Creator gives praise to them as well. The blindness that they made will not withstand the memory of this song. They will look upon the vision of the Son of God, remembering who it is they sing of. What is a miracle but this remembering? And who is there in whom this memory lies not? The light in one awakens it in all. When you have seen it in one another, you are remembering it for everyone. Light, endless and without limit. This is who you are. Thank you. I am so honored that I was asked to speak today. I'm not really a public speaker, but I do have a story that I enjoy sharing. And part of that story is that I see all of you as beautiful and holy. I see beyond your bodies, because that will fade away one day. But who you are is eternal, and you are all beautiful and holy. And there is not one thing that you can do or say that will ever change that. Many of us have an idea, a thought, a knowing that we are not what we think we are. We think we're a body, not only a body, but a body with limits and imperfections. We think that we're less than, not smart enough, too smart. We think all sorts of things of ourselves. And really, it's okay to think that, but it's not true. You are as God created you. And that is very eternal, and you will never die. Many years ago, I went to bed one night, and I had what I thought was a dream. I was in the darkness, and I was running, looking at a blue light that kept moving. And I would stop and focus on it and run towards it. And then it would move again, until I realized that the light wasn't moving, but that I was zigzagging in the darkness, seeking a light that was right before me. And when I realized that, I focused on it, and then I was there. I was in this brilliant golden light that was everywhere. And I was this light as well. But I noticed like a movement around me. And the more I focused on it, the more prominent this movement became, and I got where it was as if my eyes were focusing. And what I saw was beings of light, complete light. And the light was golden and effervescent, and it was very golden. However, there was, it's kind of difficult to explain, there was this effervescent rainbow light. And we are all this part of the same light, what I saw. And it was amazing. I didn't realize where I was at, and I didn't know where I was. And there was like a celebration. There was dancing, and there was this one sort of he was, I'm going to call it he, even though we are neither man nor woman in this place of light. Uh, there may be like a masculine, feminineness to it, but it's you can't tell features such as facial or hair, anything that is like a body. But there is still somewhat of a bit of a form and a uniqueness to each one. There's a uniqueness, but yet we're still of the same light. And there's this dancing and the celebration, and I was taken, I didn't know where I was taken and was swirled around and kind of taken up high. And everywhere I looked, there were these light bodies. And as far as I could see, as I was spinning, everywhere, and I was told that we're all here now. Meaning everyone, we're all here now. And I was taken to a place, I consider it to be my place, that was possibly has always been my place, along with everyone else. There is like a place that flows down. Later on I realized it was what we would consider like the river of life. It was sparkly and like diamonds that moved around. And this was a place where the celebrator that was welcoming everyone in a celebration of, for me it was a dance, some a slow dance, a spin around. To me this one was Jesus, but I was told that we are one and the same when I asked about other faiths and Buddhism or any of them. He said that we're one and the same. You can take it as, however you want to take that. Anyway, I had it was just an amazing experience, and I woke up. By the way, it took me 4 months to write this in my little book, and it's probably about, I call it the heart of my book, which is not a very long book, and it's about 40 pages or so. It took a long time because to be able to express the details that I saw in this place, which I was told is right here. That's another very interesting part of that. I was told that I never left and that none of us did, which I don't quite know how to describe that other than when Jesus was speaking in the Gospels, he referred to some children that were playing nearby. And he said, their angels are standing before God right now, worshiping God in heaven. And you can take it as, how I took it at the time was that there's a part of us that really, truly has never left God. And what this is an experience that we're all having. There's a lot of speculation, and I'm not going to go into different sorts of beliefs, but there's a part of us, our true selves, that have never left God. And anyway, when I woke up, I was feeling like kind of that it seemed so real. It seemed like it was a very real dream. It was this dream. It was the most lucid dream I'd ever had. And it seemed real, but I thought it was a beautiful dream. And I was really willing to accept either way. a few weeks had went by, and it stayed in my mind a lot. And at the time, I was a truck driver. I was driving truck, and I was in Fairfield, and I had stopped to get something. And I pulled over to the side of the road, and I started praying, and I asked God, I said, was that real or was it a dream? It seemed so real to me. And I knew that I would get an answer. And it wouldn't have mattered either way. I still would have shared the experience with people I knew. At the time, I attended Catholic church. And I stood out front telling a lot of people wanted to hear about it. It was pretty interesting. I was very, what I would call on fire at the time. This was about 20 or so years ago. It was back in 92. And anyway, so I was in the truck and I said the prayer. And the day had went by. I completely took it out of my mind. I trust that God would answer it, because that's how God is. When you put your faith in something, take it out of your mind. I'd actually completely forgotten about it. I was working. I went to Oakland, and I had picked up some flour. And I was on my way back, driving down 580, about the Livermore, Pleasanton area. I was looking for a radio station. And I heard this guy say, "Hey, you remember that dream you had the other night?" And I'm like, wow, what is that? And he goes, "Well, I've got an answer for you. Stay tuned." And I was like, okay, you've got my attention. And he comes back with this music playing in the background. It's like this soulful choir. You know, it's very lovely. And he says, "Yeah, you remember that dream you had the other night? And you were wondering if it was real or if it was a dream. Well, I'm here to tell you, it was real. You were there." And he went on to say some more things, but I don't recall word for word. At that point, I was like I was floating on my little seat. I mean, I was still driving the truck. And I was, praising God. I was all, just excited. And then he goes, "Oh, and God wants you to know that you're still there. You never left." I realize that sounds very profound. A few days had went by. I was just elated, after that. And I was back in that same area. I found a radio station, and I call letters. I'd never heard this radio station before. And it was a Christian radio station that was out of Stockton. And back in those days, we had phone booths. I don't know. Some of you might remember. And, the price had gone up. I think it was 30 cents or 35 cents to make a call. That, it went from the nickel and the dime and gradually worked its way up. And I'd made my way up over to the Altamont and stopped at, the same gas station is still there. It was much smaller at the time, and it had some different owner. But I pulled over, and I called information, and I got the name of the radio station and the number of the radio station, because I gave him the call letters. And I got the number, and I called. And the disc jockey answered, and his name was Scott. And I introduced myself, and I told him that I wanted to thank him for answering my prayer. And he said, "What do you mean? What are you talking about?" I said, "Well, I asked God. I prayed the other morning." And I asked God a question, and I knew that he would answer me I didn't know how he was going to do it, but I trusted that he would. And I said, God is answering prayers through you. He answered my prayer. And he said, well, what was your prayer? And I gave him a brief description of the experience that I had. And I said, what made you say that on the radio? I mean, he remembered, because it had only been a few days, and he did remember that he had what he had said. And he said, I don't know, it just came to me, and I said it. And of course, I was very grateful, and we both praised God for how wonderful and how great He is. And there's that. And anyway, so my experience to me was confirmed by this man on the radio that was listening and answered a prayer. God answered my prayer through the only way he really could. That's all I had. I was in a truck driving down the road by myself. I hardly ever even talked to anybody, but I did have the radio, and he answered. Now, what I want everyone to know is that not everyone is going to have this type of experience. What it is that it was explained to me, because I had a lot of questions, is that it's all the same place. Heaven is our home. But if we should have an experience, and a lot of people do, especially those that experience near death, or they have different sorts of beliefs, and they have a awakening experience, or an experience such as I did. A lot of people experience this in the near-death situations, and some of them and our experiences somewhat differ, but it's because of the perception that we have that's on, I'm going to call it this side of the non-existent veil. We used to call it a veil, and I decided it's non-existent. We only perceive it there. Our minds are very And I do have a slide. There you go. If I am not a body, either are you. And we are so much more than this. Ever since that experience, I learned to recognize that same light that I saw in my vision or my awakening in everyone. And I cannot exclude it from one. Not one is excluded. And that is, I can't say it's a gift, but it is definitely an extending of who we are. And it's extending love with unconditional love, without conditions. I love to practice in Walmart because I don't know any of these people, and I see them all as a holy child of God. They are. And let's see, we have Charles Fillmore. Let's see. Oh. Charles Fillmore says about our mind joining and the kingdom of heaven is that to bring forth or to manifest the harmony of divine mind or the kingdom of heaven, all our ideas must be one with divine ideas and must be expressed in the divine order of divine mind. Well, I'm getting better at this. And this is from A Course in Miracles. Some of you may have studied A Course in Miracles. I have a little story about that as well. About a year after my experience attending Catholic Church, I was very involved. I was a greeting minister, I was part of a small group that started at St. Vincent de Paul, and I believe it's still going there at the St. Jude's out in Syria. I was a Eucharist minister, and I was quite happy and content. I wasn't seeking. I did have the experience, and which changed my thought about a lot of things. And a friend of mine who also attended the same Catholic church, she was out at a bookstore with her mom, said she saw this book and says, Sharon, as soon as I saw this, I thought about you. Because I used to go over to her house a lot of times after church. And she goes, it's not for me, but it's for you. So she hands me this big blue book, and I'm not really a reader. Even though I wrote a book, I'm a little, I don't really read that much. And I was looking at this big book, and I was thinking, my goodness, because it's, it's about 3 inches thick. And I was grateful to her, of course. I opened it, and what I discovered was that the book was it isn't for everyone, but it helped me a lot. It also helped me understand my experience and how we are all one in truth. Not necessarily one big blob, we are intricately entwined in one another. And that God, which is love, fuses us all together. And the Course in Miracles says that you have the power to add to the kingdom, but not to add to the creator of the kingdom. You claim this power when you become vigilant only for God and his kingdom. By accepting his powers as yours, you have learned to be what you are. Your creations belong in you as you belong in God. As we love and extend that love, it's born a new creation. And our creations are a part of us. My creations are a part of you, and your creations are a part of you, and we are all a part of God that is everything. You are a part of God as your creations are a part of his creations. To create is to love. Love extends outward simply because it cannot be contained. Being limitless, it has always been. Your creations have always been because you can create only as God creates. Eternity is yours because he created you eternal. Oh. I have, this is from my story and something that just comes from my heart. The creator of all things is love itself. We, being created in the image of love, are love as well. All that it is of love is bound eternally to love, who is God, who is all things. All that is not of love does not exist, as love cannot be anything else but love. There will come a time, and that time is now, that we will see how it is we can be as Christ. Every child of God is one in Christ, who is one in God. And in closing, I would like to read this prayer. We thank you, Mother, Father, God, that we cannot lose the memory of you and of your love. We recognize our safety and give thanks to all the gifts you have bestowed on us. For all the loving help we have received, for your eternal patience and the word which you have given us, that we are saved and loved beyond measure. Amen. Thank you very much.
Well, we're not quite ready for that yet. No, I'm gonna sing first and then we will do that.
You are the light of the world. Yes, you are the light of the world. Don't hide your light, but let it shine clear and bright. For you are the light of the world. Shine your light to the world. Oh, shine your light to the world. Shine with love to all, so they will hear the call to shine and be the light of the world. You are the light of the world.
Good morning. These prayers are prayed for a month by the Healing Prayer Ministry, and I guess there's a whole group of people that pray for these prayers. And then they're sent to Unity in Missouri, and a whole bunch of people pray over there. So they're prayed for a lot. They get a lot of prayer. Divine Mother, Heavenly Father, may the joy of your love for us flow through these prayers and into all lives, healing all, the person being prayed for, the person offering prayer, and all of us who receive it.
Through me, blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive.
And please join me in singing, God is my source.
God is my source, God is my power, God gives me everything I need. So I give thanks for all my blessings, God gives me everything I need. God is my source, God is my power, God gives me everything I need. So I give thanks for all my blessings. God gives me everything I need. God is my source. God is my power. God gives me everything I need. So I give thanks for all my blessings. God gives me everything I need. God gives me everything I need.
We are so thankful this morning that God, the good, the prosperity, the love, the energy, the light that we are, has flowed through us to the church and then out to the community. We're so delighted to be channels for this light and love and good. And our hearts are filled with gratitude as we go through the coming week. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. The presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well.
There it is.
Okay, so we're going to hold hands, make a circle, and last week I tried to direct it and it didn't work, so I'm just going to let you guys figure it out.
Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be. With God as creator, family all are we. Let us walk with each other in perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me. Let this be the moment now. With every step I take, let this be my joy.